What's up, guys? Brendan, aka Drip, back with an updated deck profile on Galaxy Eyes Photon. I decided to go ahead and do an update to this deck because I have switched it up a little bit from my previous build that you've seen on the channel. This will probably be the last update before we get Afterglow, depending on when we get him, which we honestly better get him in the Mega 10 or I'm going to be very frustrated. But yeah, I mean, this deck is very fun. It's very consistent. He could play through a couple of hand traps, like maybe one or two, depending on the hands. And depending on also the hand, you could play through Nibiru as well. Depending on the hand, you have to be able like pretty much make number 90 beforehand. I've been playing this deck for a while, as you can see on the channel with the replays and everything. I can honestly say I haven't had this much fun playing with the deck in a long time, probably. I feel like this is like my security blanket deck. But just so you guys know, I wanted to apologize that we haven't uploaded that frequently in a while. We were waiting on that Legendary Duelist reprint stuff to come out so we can get the deck profiles out that a couple of people have been asking for, the Red Eyes and the Ancient Gears and all that. I've been on Jeremy and Josh about getting those deck profiles out to you guys I've been bugging the crap out of them, but getting them to do a deck profile is like the end of the world. I have to legit annoy the shit out of them to get them to do anything. But Jeremy claims he's working on it, but I don't know. We'll get it out to you as fast as possible. If not, then I'll buy the cards and I'll do the deck profile if I have to. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. One thing too, I was going to say, I have a couple of deck profiles that I'm working on that I'm going to have out to you guys. But myself personally, when it comes to me, I'm changing the way I do deck profiles. And what I mean by that is, I will, if you follow the channel, you know how I do duel videos. Well, I'm going to be doing duel videos before the deck profiles now, and then I'll do the deck profile, and if you guys like it enough and you get enough likes on it, then you can comment to see the combo tutorials on my build. Reason being is because a lot of people at my locals, which probably are watching this video as we speak, they only like to watch my videos to see what I'm running, to get insight on my deck profile. So it's one of those things where I don't want them to know what I'm playing until it's already over. So that's the way I'm going to be doing it from here on out. Because I have like 2 or 3 other decks that I'm going to be playing in rotation with this deck, because there for a while, like since locals have picked up, I only play this deck. So I have a couple of decks in the works now because it's getting a little repetitive. People are pretty much making comments how they're going to, certain people will be like siding in certain cards to put in their side deck. And it's very toxic and frustrating, but it is what it is. But I just wanted to make that little announcement that that's how I'm going to make changes to my deck profiles. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video. Sorry about the rant there. To start off, we got 3 Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, Big Daddy himself. Shout out to Jeremy on the channel. My friend Jeremy, he's on the channel. He pretty much did a GoFund drip. Not really, but like he not really loaned, but bought them for me. Obviously I'm gonna pay him back. He bought me a play set, pretty much. I mean, I think I bought one, didn't I? Yeah, I bought one. I bought one of the Unlimiteds, and he bought me the first ed and one of the Unlimiteds. These cards gotten ridiculously expensive, which I understand because it's Ghost Rare. I now have, because like I said in my previous deck profile, I want to try to max out this deck profile. I mean, as much as I can, because this is my favorite deck currently. Yeah, Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, can't say enough. He's legit. This guy alone starts so many combos that it's insane, and a lot of people sleep on him, and a lot of people have to read him. If you've seen in my previous duels, to where he can actually, if like you get hand trapped to death, which there's a lot of trash decks out there that have to main deck more hand traps than actual engine cards. But if you get hand trapped to death and you still have two monsters on field with 2,000 or more attack, well, you could still special summon this. And this guy's a kind of an interruption on his own right, because it forces your opponent, if you just, say you get hand trapped to death and you just special him, they have to play around to either destroy him, bounce him, but if they attack into him, they're going to lose their monster for the end of the phase. So he's very, very good, and he's just gorgeous at that. Also, and later on in this profile, I will also announce what I feel at this very moment, what I will cut down for Afterglow once he comes out, even though I said I will still make another deck profile once he comes out. The next card we are running is 3 Knight, arguably the greatest normal summon in this game, not just the archetype, but this game. The fact you can normal summon a level 8 and resurrect a Galaxy-sized Photon Dragon, and it's not required to, like, on summon effect, it's just an option, is pretty gross. If you control a Galaxy or a Photon. And if you control, if you follow the channel, yes, I know I have misplayed with this card multiple times, but in my defense, less than half the times I did it, it wouldn't have changed the outcome of the game, because if you've seen my hand or you've seen what I played on them, it wouldn't have changed the outcome of the game. I know now, like, I mean, obviously I knew then, it's just one of those things where it's a common misplay, because you get so excited, like, because you know, when you know you have control of the game, that you can just pretty much end it with him. But, yeah, I understand. But we're all human, and this is Yu-Gi-Oh! And nobody's perfect, definitely not in Yu-Gi-Oh! So everybody's going to misplay once in a while. Just to keep the trolls at bay out there. Next we got 3 Galaxy Soldier. Galaxy Soldier is pretty much, he searches pretty much your entire deck, well, half your deck, anything that says Galaxy in it, even your Galaxy Eyes monsters he searches. He's your way to get into Infinity. He plays through hand traps. He refills your hand, resets your hand in a weird way. So yeah, we got 3 Galaxy Soldiers. And in my opinion, this is the most competitive build out there right now, in my opinion. Because I have consistently topped with this deck, and it's just, I don't know, the fact that I can, even though I'm still getting beat by like the tier 1/0 decks, I'm still competing with them throughout the entirety of the match and the round. So, and this is a rogue deck, but it'll be a lot different when we get Afterglow, in my opinion. But that's all for the 3 ofs, really, of the Galaxy engine. 2 ofs for the Galaxy engine, we only got 1. Galaxy Wizard. This is one of the cards that I will cut down to 1 when Afterglow comes out. And just to give you a heads up, when Afterglow comes out, in my opinion, he is going to be just a 2 of, not a 3 of, because you don't want to break on him, and he's only an extender if you have Soul Flare or Photon Dragon on the field. But this guy he comes in clutch when you need him. He manipulates his level. You can search him if necessary. But right now, since we don't have Afterglow, you do not need him at 3, because your main normal summon is going to be Knight. So you don't want to draw too many normal summons. Granted, I know 5 to 6 normal summons is mandatory. But in this deck, normally, and in every other deck, honestly, if you've seen any of my other profiles or anything like that, I run 6 normal summons. But in this deck, the consistency, I need to keep it at 5 or lower. The reason being is because Knight, hands down, is always going to be my normal summon unless I can't not find a way to get to Knight. And then in that case, it's Wizard. And then for the 1-0s, I dropped Brave down to 1. Because I found myself always siding him out anyways. If I need him, I'll search him. I don't want to see multiples in my hand of this guy. On top of that, like I said, if I need him, I'll search him. And my last one of his Cleric, arguably, which is my 6th normal summon, I guess you can say, if you want to be like, but she's not a starter normal summon like Knight or Wizard is. She's the follow-up. You can do a constant loop of her and Soul Flare to stay in the grind game. and how many games I won due to the fact of being able to stay in the grind game, where freaking 90% of the decks nowadays can't, because they don't know what grinding is, because they're going to attempt to beat you in the first 2 turns, and the fact you can make up above average mediocre board to slow them down and expose the deck if it's not one of the tier 1 or /0 decks. It's kind of insane. I've indirectly won a lot of duels because of Cleric, because people sleep on her. I mean, I would low key like to bump her up to 2 because she's that freaking good. I love that card. I wish she came in a super. Come on, Konami, give us a super in the next OTS. That'd be glorious. And then the next card, and onto the Photon engine. The card is going to be reprinted soon. Photon Orbital, and I can't wait until he comes out in a secret rare. It's going to be super gorgeous. This is your consistency card. Now, this card literally searches your entire engine. Searches a Photon, searches a Galaxy. And yes, if it says Galaxy Ash, you can still search it because it has Galaxy in the name. This card, I can't, like, literally the heart and soul of this deck. If you don't have access to this card, there's no point really even playing this deck, because it won't be as consistent. It won't be, it just won't be, it won't feel like Galaxy Eyes, honestly, because this card literally does so much. I mean, obviously, I know you can play without this card, but would I recommend it? No. Would I do it? No. Do I want you to do it? No. If you want to play Galaxy Eyes, my recommendation right now is to buy everything except Orbital and wait until he gets reprinted, like the legendary duelist Joey and Pegasus did like a couple of days ago, because it is coming. I think it's at the end of this year, like November or October or something. So just buy everything else that you would need as a playset of, and just hold on, just relax, and just wait. Have everything but this card, because people will eventually drop this in price. If you wanted the ultra rare and you want it sooner, then you can just wait until it gets closer to reprint and just go ahead and buy it if you want to play it then. But there's no real events going on right now. Next, a lot of people run 2. I literally love this card. Like, I love this card. 3 Vanisher. I would not drop this 2. Granted, I do side out 1 every once in a while, but that's only when I'm playing a deck that I seriously want to see my side deck cards. But other than that, I love 3 Vanisher. Vanisher is so good. You know how many times I've not normal, but you know how many times I've summoned this card and people think it's my normal summon because it's like my 3rd or 4th summon already and I'm still summoning out monsters? No, this is special summon all day. That's pretty much what this deck does. I don't even really need a normal summon with this deck. I just choose a normal summon with this deck, depending on the hand. There is hands where I have to normal summon and I can't play around it, but no. This card is nuts. Starter in its own right. And then as for the one-ofs, I play 1 Vanisher, Advancer. I dropped Advancer to 1. I plan on keeping him at 1, even when Afterglow comes out. It's just one of those extenders. You'll see it when you need it, or you can search it, I guess, if you need it. But I mean, yes, he's a level 4. He helps you get into Blast, but 1 Advancer is enough. I don't want to see 2 because for some odd reason when I ran 2, I always seen 2, and it was very frustrating. And then the last one for the Photon engine is Thrasher. Yes, we finally got the near mint / very lightly played Astral Pack 1 Photon Thrasher. This card was kind of starting to rise in price for some reason. Granted, I know it's because it's Astral Pack 1, but it's not like Dark Warrior or any other kind of warrior decks really doing anything right now. But that's the Thrasher. You search it with anything really. You can search it with Rhoda. We are running Reinforcement Army in this deck because it is 2. Rhoda makes you have 2 Thrasher, makes you have 2 Advancer, makes you have 4 a Vanisher. It's just your extra monster. I mean, it's just an extra monster in its own right. that's it for the Photon engine. Now to the just random monsters you run as extenders or hand traps. You run one Guardian of Order, pretty much a Galaxy Eyes monster. Pretty much you can Sanctuary, special summon this. You just control 2 light monsters. That's the only restriction, which is insane because your entire deck is light outside of a couple cards in your extra deck. Then monster-wise hand traps is 2 Nibiru. I don't want to play Ash. I don't want to play any other really hand trap. I would run 3 of Nibiru, but I honestly only own 2 because I traded one away a long time ago, and I would rather buy cards that max rarity my deck out than buy another Nibiru for $18. Or I would honestly go buy a Mega 10 for $20 and take my chances on pulling another Nibiru and selling the cards out of that in order to buy another Nibiru or something like that. Or buy another Mega 10 from last year. Because obviously I know it's a good card, but last I checked it was $18. It might have went up, it might have went down, I don't know. But that's it for the monsters actually. Let's go ahead and let's get on to the spells. I'm running 3 Sanctuary, 1 card Union Carrier, 1 card Soul Flare, 1 card Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. And you can play this special summon Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon if necessary. I don't know why you would, but I mean if they stopped you, that's fine. Then I guess, yeah. But this card's a 1 card, pretty much almost anything in your deck. Then we are running 3 Expedition. Yes, I know. Why do you have Ghost Rares Drip, but you have 2 Supers and an Ultra Expedition? Well, it's because the Ghost Rares keep rising in value. And even if this rose in value, it's not going to go up as high as the Ghost Rares. So I'll get the Ultras later on down the road. Right now, I was worried about my Ghost Rares and maxing out my Ultimate Rares. Because if you've seen in my previous build, I had 2 unlimited ultis and 1 first ed ulti. I finally bought a 3rd unlimited ulti. I got a really good deal on it. And now I just need 2 more first ed ultis, and then I'll show you guys the page for the Galaxy Eyes Lovers once I do it. Then I run 3 trade-in, Pot of Greed. You've seen how many level 8s we run. It's Pot of Greed, and it is actually a starter in its own right because you use trade-in and you have a Knight in hand and you have a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon in hand. You just trade in the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon and draw 2, and not only that, it's literally a +1, and even if it's not a +1, it's ash bait. So it's one of those things where they either ash it and you plus off of it, or they don't ash it and you still plus off of it. So either way, if you have this and a level 8 in hand, you're plussing no matter what. So because it sends for cost first of all, and on top of it sending for cost, you're just going to plus, because if they ash it, then you're fine. And if they don't ash it, you're very fine. Because you're going to have a free draw, and you'll have probably a better hand, and you'll still have combo. So it's one of those things, like I said, this deck can play around Ash. Ash doesn't really hurt that much, depending on where they hit you, what your hand is. And even if they hit you in a critical spot, as long as you have a good hand, you can still play through it. I mean, I don't know if you've seen one of my earlier plays or earlier duels. I played through Nibiru because I still had a good hand. They Nibiru'd me at a critical time, and I still had a good hand and still played through it. It was pretty gross. Depending on what your hand is, depends on what you can play through. And then for 2-ups, I run 2 Lightning Storm. I main deck 2 Lightning Storm. Costs too much to go second in this format. Emancipators are just gross, and just any stupid deck that runs Link Ross and Halka 5 racks combo is really gross. So you need something on top of the Nibiru and everything else to attempt to slow those decks down. But yeah, I main deck 2 Lightning Storm. Not only that, not even really, because the Halka 5X and Link Cross, I fucking hate back row decks. Excuse my language if you're a kid or you're very religious or whatever, but if you're new to the channel, then yeah, hi, we cuss here a lot. But no, I fucking hate back row decks, so Lightning Storm takes care of that for me for the most part. And even if they Solemn Judgment, okay, I have a deck full of high, big beat sticks. Thank you for burning yourself and making my job a hell of a lot easier. I get a chuckle out of that when people solemn it. I'm like, okay, you just did half the work for me. Thank you. But on for the one-off spells, drop trance. I actually think I always ran one trance and then one roto. Trance is a very good extender. It's actually one of the cards you actually want to see when you get hand trapped to death by those decks that have a 40 card main deck and 15 of them are freaking hand traps. It's the card you want to see because you just laugh in their face when you activate trance. Yes, it burns you for 2k, but it doesn't matter. The board you make is they're not going to be able to really do anything. But we run one roto. Like I said earlier, it's 3 of any low warrior in your deck. And then the last 3 cards in the main is we main deck 3 impermanents. It's very good. My opinion, the best hand trap in the game. Arguably. Can't be called by even if they were negated, they would have to have something that negates a spell or trap. So an Omni Negate or some sort. Even before, like, really, Imperm was always my favorite hand trap, even though I despise hand traps for the most part. It's just this is one of the decks that my decks that I have that runs heavy hand trap count is because the consistency of this deck is insane, so I can run a high hand trap count. On top of that, it's probably the least competitive actually deck that I run, even though it hurts my soul saying that because I still think it's actually very competitive, obviously, if you've seen my previous duel videos. But 3 imperm, it's great. Shuts down columns against those trash back row decks too, so can't say enough. On to the extra deck. The extra deck is actually the exact same from last time. I didn't change anything in my extra deck. I love my extra deck. I think my extra deck's perfect for this deck. Duelist Kingdom. For the links, we run 2 Soul Flare. So happy that this card's a prismatic. It's gorgeous. It'd be nice if it ever came out in the ulti, but I doubt it. Unless the deck got Resignation. And I don't want this deck to get Resignation because I'm tired of playing decks that have targets on their back. Reason why I'm not really playing meta this format. And then the only card that's really in our deck that potentially has a target on its back, but not yet, is Union Carrier. Because I feel like if you ban the stupid lock, then you won't have to worry about Union Carrier getting hit for the most part. But yeah, Soul Flare, adds your stuff back, keeps you in the grind game, pops a special summon card on your opponent's turn. If you discard like a 2 Photons or Galaxy Photon Dragon. Those 2. Soul Flare is, I don't know. I'll say it about every card in this deck pretty much, but Soul Flare is my favorite card. And I'll say that a few more times too. And then combos, aka your Nibiru Stopper, number 90. This card is disgusting. The reason why I say it's disgusting is, one, it's a negate. And on top of being a negate, the fact he can, even when you don't have to detach to refill my man's materials, guys. It's ridiculous. Because even when we get Afterglow, if you wanted to go and equip Afterglow to him and then detach and negate, the Afterglow will double this guy's attack. And even when he has no materials, he constantly refills his materials on your opponent's turn. That is insane. So pretty much as long as this guy's on the field, he will never not have materials as long as you don't need the card in your hand. This guy's gross. Next to the next XZs, we got the Cypher package. We got Cypher Dragon, Cypher Blade, and Full Armor. Honestly, if I had to pick between the XZs, what's my favorite, it would be Full Armor. Because he's just big and beefy. I love the artwork. I wish it came in an Ultimate Rare or a Ghost Rare, but it doesn't. Full Armor is just gross. I love it. He's huge, and you can detach to pop, which comes in handy. I just wish they didn't have to be face down. I wish they didn't. I wish it just popped one card. I wish it wasn't only a face up. I wish they would revise the text. That would be glorious. And then for the Dragalubian package, I got number 100 and then number 92. Number 92 is what you're going to go first. And then if you didn't use Sanctuary, because Sanctuary locks into lights, and you're going second, you go into number 100 and it just OTK with him. Yes, he locks you into only being able to attack with number 100, and he locks you in once you use his effect, you can't special summon no other monsters besides the monster you summon off of him, which is fine. You just wait to use his effect last. Then an indirect Dragalubian package is number 62. Number 62 is amazing. He will be a hell of a lot better when we get Afterglow, because number 62 will be able to almost get as big as 100 does. Because when you get Afterglow, you equip Afterglow to number 92. Afterglow's effect, double his attack after you use his effect. So his effect, you can, I believe you could do the chains or whatever you want, because his effect, you gains the 200 attack for each XZ on the field, and then on top of that, Afterglow's effect will double the attack when it's detached. So you can work out the chains with that to where you would resolve his effect first, and then resolve. So you would be probably chain link 1 Afterglow, then chain link 2 this guy, I believe, if you could do it that way. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below. Because you want to gain attack off of him first, so when it gets doubled, it will be bigger than it would if you did it vice versa, the other way around. But yeah, Prom is very good. Prom comes in clutch when you've already burned through most of your materials in your extra deck and you need a big, beefy monster to get over stuff. And then next we got Nova, Infinity, Blast. Blast is very good. It's protection. And then Infinity Nova speaks for itself. I'm trying to speed up because I just looked up. I talk so much, I forgot how long this video is. Now to get to that side deck got changed a lot. Which the side deck's usually always evolving depending on when I find cards that can help me out with my locals. Card I decided to put in for Eldritch and every other back row, because sadly back row is everywhere at my locals. 3 Denko. If they don't have a Solemn, then you're pretty much Gucci. And then this is the card I bought, and people are sleeping on for Emancipator, and any combo deck that just goes nuts with Link Ross and Halka-Fibrax and all that bullshit, is Dogwood. Card's nasty. You might have seen me play it in my last duel video, which I literally feel like I only lost that duel because I took out my Lightning Storms. I side out my Lightning Storms, which I will not make that mistake again. I got my life points all the way up to 24k and still lost. Rest in peace. But Dogwood is still very good, because if you have follow-ups, then you're pretty much just going to win the game. Because you gain, what you do is you wait until your opponent special summons a monster. You make sure you wait until they special summon a monster. If not, you're going to be the one to reap the benefits. When they special summon a monster, you discard this card, and then you gain that monster's attack points onto your life points. And then every time they special summon for the rest of the turn, you gain that monster's attack. And it's not the original attack either. So like when they summon Access Code Talker or whatever, and they use his effect to get whatever his effect gets him his health, his attack all the way up to, you gain that. It's not original. So let's say you're playing against heroes, they special summon and chain freaking whatever that card is, Honest Neos, there you go, and it's also under Dread Decimator and all that, and they're getting buffed off of Sunrise 2, for an example. Whatever that monster's attack is after all of those cards buffing it, you'll gain that too. So it's not original attack. And then for the 2-0s, 2 Dark Ruler. Says it's self-explanatory. 2 Sphere Mode. I'm up in the air about this card, but right now, it is what it is. I would honestly think about taking it out for Kaijus. But Sphere Mode, it works for me right now. And 2 of the best card, in my opinion, in the side deck is 2 Tachyon Transmigration. I've only got to, I think, resolve this card once because I've only seen it once, sadly. No matter my draw power in the deck or search or trimming my deck, I cannot see this card. Never, ever can I see this card when I go first. It's very, very frustrating. And then we got 2 Evenly. It's Evenly. Come on now. Banishes back row, trash back row, and forces your combo decks once they completely go off to use their Herald of Arclight or whatever negate they got. Their Warlord Savage to negate it. If not, that's GG, no re. Write them up. And the last one is the last Lightning Storm. That is the deck profile. Main deck, side, and extra deck. Guys, we're going to look out for a couple of, like I said, decks that I'm going to be dropping, and then a couple of decks that Jeremy's going to be dropping, and Josh might drop one. I'm literally going to stay on their ass about definitely Jeremy to drop that Red Eyes deck and that Ancient Gear deck, because it's been like almost 2 months now, and that guy asked for, if the guy's still watching, for that profile, and I'm going to get it out to him. I told him I would, so either way, I'm going to get it out to him, or I want to harass Jeremy until he does. But I also have myself like a couple of decks I'm going to be dropping here soon, but be on the lookout for the dual videos first, because I'm done with the bull crap. But with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and stay safe out there with the pandemic going on, and God bless, and good dueling, guys. Drip out.